Okay, hello everybody and welcome to Getting Things Done. I'm sorry I couldn't be there today. I feel a bit like one of those Oscar winners, but obviously I've not won anything. So what is this process of getting things done? Well, it's a system of getting things done based on a book of the same name. The book was written in 2001 by David Allen and it sold over 1 million copies. The unabridged audiobook comes on 7 audio CDs, so you can see it's quite a lengthy process. I'm going to attempt to show you what the process is in about 15 minutes. So the question you might want to ask yourself is why? For me, I wanted to take this process on because I found myself maybe starting projects but then putting them on hold, not finishing them. It was maybe a mental block, something stopping me moving forward. Or I was not doing stuff that was supposed to be done on time, and that resulted usually in more admin or more fines, and sometimes as well wasted opportunities. So maybe I've come back from a shop and then I've realized that there was something else I needed to get there. I had no list, no way of knowing until I got home and I saw the reminder. This is the process that has helped me, and I'm hoping it's going to help you too. So let's have a look at how this system works. The first step, and probably one of the most important steps, is to empty your brain. And by that I mean get everything out of there. Every half-started project, write it down. Everything you've committed to yourself to doing or you've committed to others to doing, write that down. Every odd job that's around a house, write it down on a piece of paper. Everything in your in tray, all the unopened envelopes. This stuff is in your brain and it's going to distract you and it's going to stop you from being productive. So you need to write it down and put it all together. Collect it up in maybe a big box or basket, and this is going to be called stuff. By the way, there is a PDF that comes with Getting Things Done on the CD, and that has a prompt list which will help you think of some of the things that maybe you have committed to and haven't written down. So now that you've got all this stuff, how are you going to organize it? Okay, so once you've got the stuff, you have to decide whether it needs action or not. You got to look at it and say, is there an action for you or somebody else? Or does it not have any action at all and you're keeping it from some other reason? If there's no action, then it's fairly straightforward. You've got to file it in one single alphabetized filing system, or you just bin it because you don't need it anymore. It's out of date now, or you didn't need it anyway. Or maybe you need it for the future, so you're going to incubate it. Talk about a cool way of doing that shortly. But it's something you don't need to do right now, but it is something you would need for the future, so you're going to hang on to it. Next, if the item does have an action, then you've got 4 choices. This is basically the doing of GTD, getting things done. The first thing to do is to think, do you want to do it now? And basically, if it's going to take less than 2 minutes, the answer is yes. If you can do this in 2 minutes, you should do it now, because that's the amount of time it would take to file it or put it in an action list or something else. And it's not worth your while putting it on a list if you could just do it. So 2-minute jobs or less, get them done straight away. What about delegate? You might want to delegate it to somebody else. This doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who works for you. This could be your boss. Someone else needs to have a look at it. A file needs to be sent out to somebody else to look at. Delegate it, pass it on. What about if it's too much to take on all at once? It's not a single action. There's a lot to it. Then you got to think, is it a project? Create a project for it. Write down the step and put it into that project. And then finally, you might want to put it on a next action list. So if it's a single action, it goes on the next action list. So let's have a look at projects. A project is simply anything with more than one step. And this could be as simple as selling your car or booking a holiday. Let's take an example of selling your car. There are a few steps involved. You want to get the car valeted so it looks nice. You're going to take a nice flattering photo, it doesn't show any of the scratches, and then you want to send an unrepresentative photo to AutoTrader so you can sell your car at a hefty profit. So these are the steps. The first item, get your car valeted, goes on the next action list because that's the only one you can do now. You can't do the others until the car has been washed up and looks shiny. So, what are next action lists? Well, next action lists need to be lists of things that you can do, and they should really be separated based on context. And what I mean by that is based on where you are or what you're doing at the moment. An example of a context-based list would be computer. So next time you're at a computer and you've got time, these are the things you could do. Or hardware store, stuff that you need from the hardware store, you can only buy it when you're there. What about the next time you've got 10 minutes to talk to your partner about something? These are the things you want to talk about, these are the things you want to bring up. Or equally, stuff you want to talk to your boss about face to face. Put that on a boss list. Okay, so we're getting close to the end now. There are a few more things though you will need if you want to do this process. One of them is a well-stocked desk. You're going to need a stapler, you're going to need some rubber bands, you're also going to need a labeler, like this one, paper clips, pens and pencils, a printer. They all need to be in easy reach. If you haven't got that, you're not going to be efficient and you're not going to plow through the stuff quickly enough. You also need a very fast filing system, and by that I mean you should be able to file a single piece of paper in less than a minute. If you can't do that, you're going to be tempted to put it back in the in-tray. And if you do that, your in-tray is going to get clogged up. And you're not going to look at your in-tray because you know the stuff to be filed in there. So then your in-tray becomes useless. A fast filing system is really, really important. The weekly review. This, again, is a really, really, really important part of the process. Every week you need to go through your projects lists and your next action lists and just read them, update them, delete anything that's not necessary anymore, add stuff, just keep it trim and make sure everything's in there, because if you don't trust those project lists and those next action lists, then they're not going to be of any use to you. Okay, so now finally we're going to talk about the incubator stuff I mentioned earlier, and this we're going to use something called a tickler file. Now, a tickler file is a way of sending a future note to self, and it's a really useful way of doing it. This is how it works. You've got the days of the month, 1 to 31, and the months of the year, January to December, as individual files. This is an example. This is mine, and it looks like that. If you can see that, you've got all the days of the month there, and you have today's date, or tomorrow's date in my case, there, and you have stuff for tomorrow in there. Come tomorrow morning, you take that out and you push that behind number 8 at the back, and on you go. So you can post stuff to yourself for anything in the next 31 days and any month in the next 12 months. When you get to 31 on a month, you take everything out of that file and put that in your in-tray, and you're done. Okay, everybody, so that's basically the process. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope it was of some use to you. If you've got any questions, please ask me at the Christmas party. See you later.